Welcome to the Fall Memories Interactive Scrapbook tutorial. In this tutorial, I will show you how to make this amazing and beautiful scrapbook. On the first page, we have this little tree here, and tucked behind it is this fantastic photo insert. Then we have this tri-fold that opens up to reveal lots of opportunities for your photos, with an insert that flips over and is decorated on both sides with this adorable little postcard. That folds back up, and then we go to the second page where we have this cute Cozy Vibes pocket with 3 different things inside the pocket. First, we have this photo mat here. Then we have a journaling tag and another little tag for anything that you want to add to it. Then we have our thankful page with our little pocket here, 2 additional tags there. And then the thankful pocket opens up to reveal a beautiful fall image there and 3 trifolds. Gorgeous papers all coordinating together. Then we have this little band here with an insert behind it. Adorable acorn. I love that Harlequin paper and all of the coordinating colors. Then we have this fantastic autumn cutout where you can see the print behind there. When you open that up, we have this insert here, this cute acorn paper with the polka dots and a little acorn border. So adorable. Then when you go to the next page, you have this little bifold that pulls out. We have a cute coffee cup that says pumpkin spice, perfect for those latte days. And this little insert tucks right back inside the page here. So adorable. Then we have this little card that pulls out from behind the autumn die cut. I just love how the stripes with the autumn go together on this page. Then we have our flap here that opens up to reveal a little pumpkin patch pocket with 2 little tags inside and lots of space for photos. And then on our last page, we have these 2 inserts here, the grateful and thankful, and our fall insert, which is so great for any pictures or journaling, whatever you would like. And they both tuck inside this cute little floral pumpkin cutout. Now let's get started building this amazing scrapbook. Let's begin by making the covers. The first thing you're going to do is cut a piece of chipboard 8 by 8 inches. Then you're going to take one of the scrap pieces and cut that to 1 1/4 by 8 inches. That will be your spine piece. And then finally, you'll take another piece of chipboard and cut that also to 8 by 8 inches, and that will become your back cover of your book. Next, you're going to take the 2 pieces of 12 by 12 leaf paper. You're going to need some score tape and your 3 pieces of chipboard. You're going to add some score tape to the very edge of one of the pieces of 12 by 12 paper. It doesn't matter which edge. Make sure you run it all the way along the edge of the paper. Then you're going to line the other piece of paper up and stick that down. And then you should have something that looks like this. Then you're going to score that paper at 1 inch all the way down. Next, you'll line up your piece of chipboard and you're going to add score tape to the entire perimeter and also on the inside of the chipboard. And you're going to repeat that process on the other side of the chipboard as well. Next, you're going to add some score tape to the spine piece all the way down, covering the entire side. And then you're going to add your score tape again to the back cover piece in the same way, along the perimeters and also in the inside. And then you want to flip it over and you want to add score tape to the other side of the piece of chipboard as well. Then you're going to line up your chipboard at 1 inch on the left and along the top score line. Then you can go ahead and stick down your spine piece and leave a 1/4 inch gap between the spine piece and the front cover, and also the spine piece and the back cover, making sure that you have stuck it down very well and that everything is aligned on the top score line. Next, you're going to cut a border along the bottom of 1 inch. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to use a ruler or anything. You can just kind of eye it because you won't see this edge at some point. You just need about 1 inch margin there to fold over onto the chipboard. Next, you can use this tool here if you have that and make your corners, or you could just simply use a straight edge of some sort, and you want to cut a diagonal right along the edge of the corner. Don't go all the way to the corner. You want to kind of leave about 1/4 of an inch there. Once you have cut all 4 corners, then you can go ahead and add some score tape to the top perimeter. You're also going to add it on the side, the bottom, and the other side, making sure that you go all the way along the very edge of the piece of paper. Then you can remove the score tape along all of those pieces that you just added. Then you're going to take off the score tape on the chipboard. As you can see here in the video, you want to take it off on all of the edges of the chipboard. And then you're also going to take it off along the inside edge next to the spine. Then you're going to add another piece of score tape along the bottom over the spine and the back and front cover as shown. Then you're going to pick it up and kind of rock it back and forth so that you kind of train the paper to make a nice fold, because you're going to be wrapping that paper around the edge of the chipboard. You want to start in the middle and then press outward. And depending on where you put your score tape, you may have to remove some of the pieces just so you don't overlap. And then you want to begin in the middle and work your way out to one side and then to the other side. Then you want to use your bone folder and give that a nice crisp burnish. Then you're going to fold in on the bottom in the same way, starting at the center, working outwards, and then along the other side as well. You can now remove all of your pieces of score tape. And then next, you're going to begin folding in the side pieces as well. Again, start in the middle and work your way outward. That prevents any bubbles from occurring. And there you go. Now you can kind of bend it back and forth and train the paper to bend around the chipboard. Now the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to add your inside paper piece. To do that, we're going to add some score tape along the bottom, side, and top of the inside front cover. Make sure you have the acorn paper that goes on the inside front cover. Then you're also going to add score tape along the back cover on all sides there as shown. Once you have done that, you can go ahead now and add some more score tape to the inside spine piece. As you can see here, we want to cover that whole spine piece so that we get nice adherence onto the spine, because that is a place of tension and we want to make sure the paper sticks well. Then you can remove the score tape on the spine and all the way around the perimeter of the book. Once you have done that, then you can go ahead and add some more score tape down at the bottom and at the very top, just kind of along where the spine piece is and maybe an inch or so over on the left and right. And now we're going to add some score tape to our spine piece here. As you can see, we're going to add that all the way around on the left side and the right side. And then we're simply going to center that piece over the spine and press that down really well. You can also give that a nice burnish, just make sure it adheres everywhere. Then you can bend the paper up like that and make sure that it bends properly. Now you're going to add some score tape to the acorn piece of paper just on the one side there, on the right side. And then you're going to add some along the bottom here as shown and the top. And also do that on the back cover side as well, because we're going to be sticking a piece of paper down there as well. Once you've removed the score tape, you can go ahead and add your acorn piece, aligning all the way to the edge and along the top and bottom. You want to make sure the paper does not go into that little gap or valley between the front cover piece and the spine. Then you can add the leaf paper to the back inside cover. You're going to add, this time, you're going to add it to the left side of the paper. Make sure your design is right side up. And then you can simply align this now to the far right and top to bottom, making sure again that the paper does not fall into the valley between the spine and the back cover. And there you have it. Now you have your cover covered. All right, let's go to step 2. Now you're going to score and add tape or score tape to the flaps in each of your 4 pages. So you want to fold and burnish on each side as shown here on each of those 4 pages. And then once you have done that, you can go ahead now and add your score tape. You want to add your score tape to the outside of the flap, as you can see here, and you're going to repeat that process on all 4 pages. Then you can do it on page 3, and finally add some score tape to page 4. All right, once you have finished that, now you can remove the score tape and add to your book. So you want to align the first page right along on top of the spine piece to the very edge, and make sure that it doesn't go into the valley between the spine piece chipboard and the front cover chipboard. Then you're going to align your next piece right up next to the first one. Then you're going to align your third piece right up next to the second one. You want to make sure there's no gap there where you can see the paper. And then finally, you're going to repeat that process one more time with the fourth piece, making sure that you've aligned everything top to bottom and that there's no gap. All right, you should have something that looks like this when you're finished. Step 4 is to prepare and attach the page 1 pieces. So the first thing you want to do is take all of your pieces for page 1. Go ahead and give all of those a fold and a burnish with your bone folder. For the pocket, you want to cut right along the area where the score lines cross there on both sides. And then once you have done that, you can go ahead and fold up and give that a nice burnish again with your bone folder. And now you've created a little pocket. And for the final piece, that's an insert, so you don't need to score that. Next, you're going to add score tape into the outside of the flap on each side of the pocket, so bottom and left and right side. Then you're going to add score tape to the bigger flap here on the outside. Then on the outside of the smaller flap here. And then again, you're going to add score tape to the mini flap right along here. Now, the first thing you want to do is add the smaller flap to the left-hand side. So go ahead and align that right on top of the brown page. Press that down. And then you can go ahead and add the bigger flap to the right-hand side of the page, making sure that you align it on the bottom, starting on the bottom, and then go along the side. Press that down. And then you can see there that you have this nice tri-fold piece. Then you're going to add your pocket so you can remove the score tape. And you're going to simply start on the left here, align it to the left-hand side of the page there. Make sure you don't go into the fold line. And then along the bottom, fold that in and then press down. And now you have a nice pocket and you can place the insert inside there. Step 5 is to prepare and attach the page 2 pieces. So this time we have a pocket again. So you're going to cut again along where those score lines cross on both sides. Go ahead and fold that, give that a nice burnish. Do that on all 3 sides. Then you're going to go ahead and you're going to add score tape to the outside flap on all 3 sides of the pocket. Once you are finished with that, you can go ahead and remove the score tape on all 3 sides. And then you're going to grab your book, align it to the lower left-hand corner there, right along the side and the bottom, pressing down and all the way around. Perfect. There you go. Now you have a nice pocket. Next, you're going to Go to step 6, which is to prepare and attach the pages for the next page. So go ahead and fold in again on those score lines. You have 3 pieces here. Once you have done that, you're going to cut again. This is a little pocket right along where those score lines cross. Give that a nice fold and burnish on all 3 sides. We have kind of a tiny little pocket that goes on this page. And then you're going to add score tape to the outside flap of this piece, as shown. And then you're going to again do that on the other 2 flaps as well, making sure you're doing it on the outside of the flap. All right, now you can go ahead and you're going to remove the score tape, and you're going to add the first piece here. This piece is going to go right along the side here. So you're going to align that all the way to the far right and top to bottom, just like that. Perfect. Now you're going to take your other piece and you're going to fold the flap in like this and tear off that score tape. And then you're going to align them together like this so that they stick together on the inside. Okay. And then you want it to kind of fold open like that. Then you can take the score tape off of your pocket, and then you're going to place your pocket here and probably about 3/4 of an inch up from the bottom. And there you go. Now you have this cute little pocket on that flap. All right, moving on to step 7, we're going to do the prepare and attach the page 4 pieces. So this has this little band here. You can go ahead and fold in on those score lines, attach your score tape. Remove the score tape backing, grab your book, and then you're going to place this right in the center of the page, sticking it down on the top and the bottom. The other piece is simply an insert, so you can just place that inside there. Next, we're going to go to step 8, which is to prepare and attach the page 5 pieces. So you have 3 pieces here. Go ahead and fold in on those score lines on each of those pieces. This one's a pocket, so you're going to cut again where the score lines cross on each side. Go ahead and fold and burnish each of the 3 sides of the pocket. Then you can add your score tape to all 3 sides and also to this flap here. And then you're going to grab your book and we're going to add, I'm going to turn it upside down and I'm going to add the top flap, aligning it to the lower left-hand corner and along the top there. And there we go. Keep in mind the book is upside down at that point. Then you're going to turn it right side up again, remove the score tape on the pocket, and go ahead and add that pocket to the page, starting in the lower left-hand corner, making sure that you're not going into the fold line, that you put it just a little bit past that so that it doesn't interfere with the fold line there. And then we're going to stick it down all the way around. Perfect. And then you can go ahead and place the insert inside of the pocket and close the flap. Next, step 9, we're going to attach and prepare the page 6 pieces. So you have these 3 pieces here. This one is also a pocket, so you're going to cut where the score lines cross again on each of those corners. Then you're going to fold in, give that a nice burnish on all 3 sides on the score lines. Then you're going to fold in on this score line. You're going to add some score tape to the outside of this flap. And then we're going to attach the other piece that doesn't have a flap. And we're going to stick that right there, making sure we're not going over the fold line. And now you have this nice bifold piece. Then you can add score tape to the outside of the flaps of the pocket. Once you have done that, you can go ahead and remove the score tape, but I would recommend that you remove only the one of the pieces there, and that would be the bottom piece and the side piece, because If you remove all three pieces, it can get a little difficult to add. So just remove your bottom piece, align that, remove your side piece, go ahead and stick that down. And when you're happy with it, then you can go ahead and pull the top score tape backing off and stick that down. Sometimes when pockets are bigger, they're a little harder to do, so I recommend doing it like that. Then you can go ahead and take your insert and pop it in there. The next step is to prepare and attach the page 7 piece, but there's only an insert here, so there's not much to do there. For step 11, you're going to prepare and attach the page 8 pieces, and you have 2 pieces here, each of which have a score line. Go ahead and fold that, burnish that, and add your score tape to each of those flaps. And you're going to pull the score tape off and add the bottom flap first. So you can go ahead and align that to the lower left corner, making sure that you align it to the side of the page and to the bottom. Press that down. And then you can take your top flap, pull the score tape off, and go ahead and stick that down. Again, making sure you're not going over into the little valley where the spine is, and stick that down. And there you go. Now you have attached all the pieces inside of the book. All right, now it's time to decorate. So we're going to begin with the cover page. You want to add your score tape right along the side of the tree and the bottom of the tree as shown here. Then you can go ahead and stick that down on the inside front cover. Then we're going to add the flowered paper to one side of the insert and the orange polka dot paper to the other side. And that's going to slide right in there. Next, we're going to decorate page 1. So you should have these pieces as part of your page 1 pieces. Once you've grabbed those, you can go ahead and stick down the green typography paper on the left smaller flap here. So align that really well. Once you have done that, then you're going to go ahead and you're going to add your little small flap. So that's going to go here. Sticking that down kind of in the middle, so you want to center it and about 2 inches in. Press that down. Then we're going to add a magnet so this stays closed. So you want to add about a 2-inch piece of score tape there. Put your magnet down. Put the other side of, or put another piece of score tape over that. Don't take the backing off. Add the magnet back. Then add a little piece of score tape to the top of the magnet, remove it, and then press it down so that it sticks on the other paper, and then add a piece of score tape on top of that. Now you can remove the score tape. We're working on the inside of the flap. Add your orange polka dot paper, and then you can add your orange gingham paper to the front side of the flap. Then you can remove the score tape on top of that magnet, and you're going to stick down the plaid paper on top of that. Make sure it gets stuck onto the magnet really well. Then you can add the flowered paper on the right-hand side, the green leaf paper on top of the pocket. The green polka dot paper is going to cover one side of the insert. And then flip that over and add the green typography paper to the other side of the insert. And then you're going to add the orange gingham to the inside left flap. And then the striped paper inside of the pocket there. And then you can add the postcard on top of that. And then you're going to take your insert and place it back inside of there, and you can close everything up and attach the magnet. All right, moving on to the next page. This is page 2. You should have these pieces as part of your page 2 kit. You can add the pumpkin paper to the inside of that little pocket there, as shown. Then you're going to take the leaf paper and the orange typography paper, and you're going to stick those together because those are going to become an insert. Then we're going to add that cute little leaf insert and the striped tag there. And then we're going to add our final piece, which is going to cover the pocket, and that's the orange pumpkins. Go ahead and stick that down. Then you can add that cute Cozy Vibes title there. For step 14, we're going to decorate page 3. So these are the pieces you should have for that. And once you have your pieces for page 3, we're going to go ahead and add the green gingham paper to the inside of that piece there. Then we're going to take the larger striped paper, tuck that inside the pocket, and add that paper there. And next we're going to add this orange polka dot paper. We're going to add this plaid paper on the inside of that flap. And then we're going to add the orange polka dot paper again in the middle here and the striped paper here. Lots of opportunities for photos with this one. And then you're going to take that thankful and line it up right there and place that right on top. Tuck the orange tag in and the green gingham, and you're all done with that. Next step, you're going to decorate page 4. So these are the pieces that you'll need for that. First, you want to add the Harlequin paper to the insert on one side. Then you're going to add the orange typography paper to the insert on the other side. Then you're going to take your green gingham and add that to the band, and then go ahead and tuck in your insert and add the acorn. Super easy. Next, we're going to decorate page 5. These are the pieces that you'll need for page 5. Once you have collected those pieces, add the green polka dot to one side of the insert and the acorns on the other side. Then you can tuck in the sunflower paper inside the pocket, add that there. Then you can add your green leaf paper to the outside of the pocket. Then we're going to add the leaf paper on top here. And then we're going to stick down this checkerboard paper on top here, and then this cute autumn cutout. And I love how you can see the checkerboard paper through the cutout. And then you can tuck your acorn insert right inside of there, and that's done. Next up, we are going to decorate page 6. These are the pieces that you need for that page. First, we're going to add the checkerboard to the back side of the bifold piece, the green polka dot on the inside right of the bifold, the orange typography on the left inside of the bifold, and the leaf paper on the front side of the bifold. Then you can go ahead and tuck that right inside there. Next up, we have this adorable autumn piece, these pieces here for the page 7. And you're going to add the flower paper and then the polka dot along the edge there. And then we're going to add the striped paper as a background on that page. We're going to add a little score tape on the backside of the autumn piece, but just on the top because we want the bottom free. We're going to be tucking the insert in behind that. So that's going to go right there. And then we're just simply going to tuck the insert in, and there we go. Step 19, we're going to decorate page 8. We're going to add the orange pumpkin paper on the inside there. We're going to add the checkerboard paper to the inside of the top flap. And then we're going to add this sunflower paper to the inside of the bottom flap. And then we're going to add another piece of the striped paper there. And then we're going to add the plaid paper. And on top of that, we're going to add the wheelbarrow paper there. Very cute. Finally, we come to the back cover. You're going to add some score tape along the bottom of the flowered corner piece here and along the side only. And then we're going to take that score tape off and stick that down there. And then we're going to take the thankful piece and the grateful piece. And we're going to stick those together to make an insert and tuck that in there. And then take our cute fall card there and tuck it right behind that. Perfect. Now we're going to add some decorative elements. As shown here, you should have some leftover decorative elements, and we're going to add those to each of the pages here. So add the coffee cup, the pumpkin spice with the little dots. It's very cute. And then we're going to add this pumpkin patch paper here and tuck in that fall leaves, cozy vibes, and the green polka dot. And then finally, we're going to add this fall piece here to the inside of this flap. Now we're going to finish the cover. So you're going to want to add some score tape on to the outside of the spine there, kind of space it out evenly along the spine. Then you're going to add score tape to the edge of the spine cover piece here. This is the orange polka dot paper all the way along the perimeter. Then you're going to add some score tape along the edge of the spine there. Flip the book over and add some score tape to the edge of the spine there. Then you're going to pull off that score tape, and then you're going to align your orange paper centered over the spine. Push that down, fold one side over, and then you can go ahead and pull the score tape off and fold the other side over. And there you go. Now you have a really cute border piece. Now our final step is we're going to add our truck to the front. So you want to take some foam tape, double layer it, and add it in 3 places here as shown. And then you're going to simply stick that down, and look how adorable that is. And there you have it. Your Fall Memories Interactive Scrapbook is complete. I hope you had as much fun creating this project as I did designing it. If you'd like to make one of your own, simply scan the QR code on the screen to order the kit with everything pre-cut, scored, and ready for you to assemble. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to the Memorette Studio for more creative scrapbook projects, tutorials, and inspiration. Thanks so much for crafting with me, and I'll see you in the next project.